Most of you are familiar with Eddie Foulger as training champions and building muscles. However, Eddie also has the gift of changing the inside of a person, not just the outside. And this particular story is life-changing.
Eddie, I do know that from my experience, you are more than just a trainer that shows somebody how to do reps. So this next guest that's coming up after you need to tell the audience about how you came in contact with him and what you're doing for him.
Well, I've known Trey's dad for a few years now, and I used to see Trey come around the gym as a young man, and in fact, I have a memory of him. I was in the parking lot and I heard like this music kind of bumping, and I looked back and there was this Mercedes pulling up, and it was him with his hat on sideways, and he was rolling in the car like this, and and he was just kind of cruising around the parking lot a little bit, and so I knew who Trey was, and I knew his dad, and so I heard about the incident that occurred.
And mention the incident, refresh the audience's memory.
Well, everything I know is now what was told to me because I wasn't there. But apparently there was, it was at a high school party. There was, I think, a group of people that showed up to the party that weren't part of that circle of friends. I believe that they were told to leave. I believe that some type of incident occurred shortly after that. And it was sort of like just an anger and maybe a retaliation based on the fact that these people weren't allowed to come into the party.
Right.
This young man, Trey, I think that he was just an innocent bystander in all of this.
In the wrong place at the wrong time.
The wrong place at the wrong time. It happens all the time, and I think he walked out into the street, leaving the party, and these individuals came by in their vehicle, threw something, I think it was a rock at his head, hit him in the head, leaving him unconscious and driving off.
Wow. And that's the beginning of what happened. So he ended up in the hospital and in a coma for how many days?
I believe he was in the coma for 18 days. It was... I honestly didn't think that he was going to pull through.
What you do with him, I know from my experience with you, you pump me up inside. You feed me what I need to program myself with so that I can follow through. And what is it that you do special for Trey?
Well, I think it's important after going through an experience like that he's filled with positive vibes, positive energy,
Absolutely.
And something that's going to build him up, his self-esteem, keep him sharp, and set him up for a positive future. I think that incidents like that can change people.
Absolutely.
And it can go for the worse.
Right. Post-traumatic stress disorder. A lot of things. So his father was very in tune to be able to, I assume, did he get you two together immediately when he was able?
Well, pretty much as soon as his physical therapy was done, which it was in such a short amount of time. I mean, honestly, I was talking to Rich at the gym one day, and he told me that Trey had already finished physical therapy. I couldn't believe it, and so
that quickly.
It had happened. It was so fast. I mean, literally a miracle.
Wow.
I mean, it was.
Well,
it was
there
incredible.
are miracles, and that's the other part that I think is important to share on the show. And I don't think it's an accident that you're the person that is put with him. There are no accidents. And like I said, he feels so bad about himself. It just is, it was a horrible, tragic incident. And I've read so much about these kind of accidents. They're fluke. They seem fluke. So what you say to him and how you're treating him is actually as important as his body, I think.
Yeah, I agree, and like we've said before, I'm very passionate about what I do anyway.
You are.
So I also care about the people that I help and that I work with. And so, this one right here is kind of an emotional one for me too.
But it isn't all just about the looks of a person. It is truly how we feel about ourselves inside. makes a difference on what we're capable of doing. So you're a coach, like a life coach in a lot of ways. I think that if someone is lucky enough to have you as a trainer, they're getting a lot more than just a professional first-class champion trainer. They're getting someone that knows how to build them up on the inside as well as the outside. Am I right?
I like to believe so.
I've watched people with you. I've watched the women that you've built up that way. I've watched their esteem literally rise. So yes, I'm a fan, but I do think that the fact that this particular man touched you in that way, I'm moved at that. Thank you for sharing that.